As the war in Israel continues, there are growing concerns over a humanitarian crisis in Gaza.
Joining us live now is WSFA's Washington correspondent Peter Zampa. Peter, what is the Biden administration saying about the crisis in the Middle East right now?
Yeah, Sally and Rosanna, let's brief folks on why this is becoming such an issue. It's because Israel basically said to folks in northern Gaza, hey, you have 24 hours to move south or else you risk whatever comes from a potential ground invasion or more bombardment. And you have organizations, humanitarian organizations like the United Nations or Amnesty International saying that's not sufficient timing, that there are going to be civilian casualties. You can't just give a warning like that. So that's where administration officials are having to answer questions. And they have been saying, look, it does matter how Israel responds. It does matter that they follow international law, that we don't have civilian casualties. But they are still sticking by their full-throated support for Israel in this, giving them all the aid they need, whatever resources they need. So it's a little bit of a mixed message, but they are saying they're having conversations with the Israelis to make sure they know that they need to do this in a humane way.
Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin landed in Israel today. Tell us about his visit.
Well, this is just similar to Secretary of State Antony Blinken's visit yesterday to show that level of support. I mean, two of our top officials back-to-back days meeting with the high levels of government in Israel to ask them face to face, what do you need? What more can we do? We are here to show you that we are with you. He was also there to witness the delivery of more ammunition, of those interceptors that are crucial to the Iron Dome defense system there. And he was also there to give a poignant speech saying this is not a time for neutrality. There is no neutrality in this. You're either with Israel or you're on the side of terrorists in this war, making it clear the U.S. is on the side of Israel.
Peter, the U.S. Capitol bolstered its security after a former Hamas leader called for a day of rage. What can you tell us about the security there in the nation's capital?
Yeah, this was out of an abundance of caution. Capitol Police acknowledged there was no known threat or a risk to the Capitol complex, but they did up the amount of security around the complex. They closed off that plaza that folks like to walk through right in front of the Capitol, where you can take those pictures and kind of get up close to the steps. You couldn't do that today because of this enhanced threat. But yeah, no, given the past failures at the Capitol complex and given this kind of threat that we've seen play out internationally, it was out of an abundance of caution that they made those moves today.
The scramble to find a new Speaker of the House continues. What's the latest?
Well, the latest is that lawmakers are gone for the weekend after Jim Jordan, the Ohio Republican, won a behind-closed-doors vote today. But he only got 124 votes from the conference. 81 people in the GOP voted for someone who entered the race like an hour before they even had the vote. A guy who said he didn't even want to be Speaker got 81 votes, and you can just count those as anti-Jordan votes. There are 55 of those who did not vote for Jordan who say they will not support him on the House floor. So this puts him in a really tricky spot. And frankly, it doesn't get us any closer to getting a Speaker of the House. He's going to have to make a lot of phone calls over this weekend before they pick this back up on Monday.
Our White House correspondent Peter Zampa live in Washington, D.C. for us. Peter, thanks so much for joining us.